Morning, everyone. 10:30 a.m. on a Tuesday. What a beautiful Tuesday. Here it is in Jefferson County, West Virginia. This is Tim here with Tim's Storytime Adventures. And I tell you what, I'm really excited because it's October. I love autumn. I love it when the leaves start changing colors. I like it when the weather gets a little bit cool. I love picking apples, and there's so many apples around, and pumpkin spice on everything. And I enjoy getting to wear a little sweater every once in a while and watching football games and all that good stuff. But what I really love about October is that is the month in which we celebrate Halloween. Oh, sorry if I'm scaring anybody. I don't mean to. I'm just having fun with it because I love Halloween. Now, are we ready for our special spooky version of the Storytime song? All right, just do it in your spookiest voice if you want to. It's time for story time. It's time for story time. It's happy story time today. But let's put a different word in there this time. It's time for story time. It's time for story time. A spooky story time today. Oh, yeah. All right. So, Mr. Tim is remiss in that he did not get any spooky, scary jokes for today. But I'm pretty sure no one misses my jokes anyway, right? Because I got all these stories. I don't have time for jokes. I don't have time for jokes at all, but I do have time for plenty of stories. So, like I said, today is the 13th. I thought it would be kind of a good time to do like a Halloween preview of stories because 13, when you take the 1 and the 3 and switch them around, you end up with 31, which of course is when Halloween is. So, we'll do some spooky stories today. And of course, when I come and visit you again later on this month, we'll also do scary stories when it gets close to Halloween. Who likes scary stories out there, huh? Yeah. How many of you out there? I see. Well, I don't really get to see anybody, but don't worry. One day we'll have the library wide open, and all of our friends who are watching on the internet will be able to come and see us live and in person. Just a reminder, parents, adults, the big people that live with the little people and who are teaching the little people that are watching these story times, every book that I read during story time is available at the Charlestown Library. And we are allowing a select few people, amount of people into the building. We allow 8 people in at a time, but if you want to bring the little ones up and choose some books on your own, you're more than welcome to do that. We also, of course, still offer our curbside service. If you don't want to come in, that's all right. We don't mind that at all, and we'll bring them right out to you if you wish. Just visit us at ctlibrary.org, and you can put stuff on hold that way. Also, don't forget about Hoopla, our great, wonderful ebook e-reader service. And there's ebooks there. That means electronic books. There's also comics, graphic novels, audiobooks, movies you can download, CDs, music you can download as well. All of that is there on Hoopla. All right, so who's ready for some scary stories? Mr. Tim, quit yakking about Hoopla and tell us some stories, or read us some stories. I could tell some stories, but then they'd say, quit making that up, Mr. Tim. Just read what's in the book. So the first one I have is called Haunted Party. Look at this guy. This is a ghost. This is a good number learning and counting book. So if you're just learning how to count and learn numbers, this one's a great way to get started. So I can show pictures and look for all the things that you see in there. There's a black cat on the stairs, and there, of course, is the ghost running around. So look at that. Pretty clever. Hey, little chums. All right. It's Halloween, and what a night. The full moon shines, the bats take flight. Here at this haunted house, one ghost has been a very busy host, preparing for a ton of fun. At last the party has begun. The doorbell chimes some eerie notes, and to the door the ghost host floats. 2 spooky skeletons come in with rattly bones and toothy grins to boogie as the record spins as the haunted house of the ghost. 3 gruesome goblins, gross and green, with pointy ears that aren't too clean, enjoy some really mean cuisine at the haunted house of the ghost. 4 wild werewolves, wild and hairy. 5 vile vampires, super scary. Are apple bobbers extraordinary at the haunted house of the ghost. 6 ghastly ghouls who glare and gaze with creepy sunken eyes ablaze are in a pumpkin carving craze at the haunted house of the ghost. 7 mean monsters, crass and crude, such party poopers acting rude, are in a pumpkin smashing mood at the haunted house of the ghost. 8 wretched witches riding on brooms, 9 morbid mummies risen from tombs kick up their heels in the dreadful rooms at the haunted house of the ghost. 10 cute children, sunny and sweet, with smiling faces, come to greet, politely chanting, "Trick or treat," at the haunted house of the ghost. 9 morbid mummies flee and hide. 8 wretched witches zoom outside. 7 mean monsters tremble with fear. 6 ghastly ghouls try to disappear. 5 vile vampires soar in flight. 4 wild werewolves howl in fright. 3 gruesome goblins quake and shiver. 2 spooky skeletons shake and shiver. But who of them was frightened most? Boom! Not the ghost. Ooh, kind of a surprise ending to that one, huh? And there he is, just hanging out on his porch. All those poor little kids dropped their candy. So if any of you are going trick-or-treating this year, don't drop your candy. Don't let any ghost at the door scare you into dropping your candy. By the way, those of you who are considering trick-or-treating, Mr. Tim loves candy bars. Just saying. Just saying. If any of you are trick-or-treating and you don't want your candy bars, Mr. Tim loves candy. You know what I really like are those little black and orange taffy things with the peanut butter in them. You know what I'm talking about? Any grown-ups out there know what I'm talking about? Sometimes kids do too. You only get them anyway. All right, more stories. Now this one is about a story at a library. What do you think, huh? Isn't that cool? So this one, and I have a wonderful friend whose last name is Smith. Smith is a relatively common name, of course, but I have a wonderful friend named Smith. And so when I saw Miss Smith and the Haunted Library, I thought, I've got to read that one. So here we go. Miss Smith and the Haunted Library. This one is by Michael Garland. Ooh. This better get interesting. I think that was Zach. Zach stared out of the classroom window at the dreary fall morning as he waited for his favorite teacher to arrive. Suddenly, Miss Smith burst through the door. "Good morning, class. We're going to visit the library today. There is someone special who I want you to meet." Zach smiled when Miss Smith picked up the incredible storybook before heading out the door. The library was right down the block from school. Zach warily eyed the dark stone building as they walked single file up the sidewalk. The creaky door swung open, and they all tiptoed inside. Ooh, kind of a dreary-looking library building. Kind of like the Charlestown Library. No, we have a very friendly-looking building. "Class," Miss Smith said, "this is our librarian, Virginia Creeper." Zach stared in shock. Blue hair, pale skin, deep dark eyes. He hadn't been expecting this. "Hello," Miss Creeper said in a high-pitched, squeaky voice. "How can I help you today?" "This is the season for spooky stories. Do you have any suggestions?" Miss Smith asked. "Oh, yes," the librarian replied. "Quite a few. I might find some of them in your incredible storybook." Miss Smith handed the book to Virginia Creeper. The librarian opened it and said, "I'll just read a little from my favorite scary stories." Ms. Creeper began to read about a dark, haunted wood. Zack shivered. Then, with a thunder of hooves, the headless horseman leaped out of the book. The children's mouths hung open in disbelief. Virginia Creeper started reading again, and the hound of the Baskervilles pounced out the book. More reading added the clinking and rattling of change as Mr. Marley's ghost appeared. New stories brought out the Hunchback of Notre Dame, Frankenstein, and Count Dracula. The class started to cling to Miss Smith. The great black horse snorted and stomped his hooves. Frankenstein groaned, but Virginia Creeper just kept on reading as flock of ghosts flew from the book. When Captain Hook and the Wicked Witch of the West entered the room, Zack wondered if he should just run for the door. Oh. The scary creatures were crowding the room, but that didn't stop Virginia Creeper from reading. Rumpelstiltskin, the Queen of Hearts, and the big bad wolf squeezed in among the others. Zack looked up and saw the giant from Jack and the Beanstalk bump his head on the ceiling. Bonk. Next, the room was filled with eerie sounds of whiffling and burbling. Virginia Creeper read on as the flaming-eyed Jabberwocky arrived in a puff of smoke. Then the strangest thing happened. Virginia Creeper stopped reading and started to pass out cookies and apple cider to the children and the characters. The mood changed. To Zack's amazement, the party started. Oh yeah, it's a party in the library. All the creatures seemed happy to be at the library. The headless horseman gave horsey rides, and the kids lined up. Someone bought out a ball and played fetch with the hound of the Baskervilles. Dracula told jokes. The giant gently picked up some kids and lifted them high in the air. Everyone was enjoying the fun. The characters didn't seem so scary now. Look at that. Everybody having a good time there. Oh, yes. Yes, they are. Virginia Creeper's happy smile suddenly changed to a worried frown when she looked out the window and saw the seniors' book club coming up the walk. Oh my, said Miss Creeper. I almost forgot. It's time for the book club. They can't see this. It will give the seniors such a fright. Go and tidy up while I stall them at the door, the librarian told Miss Smith. Okay, there's the seniors coming up the walk. That means there's older folks that are coming for a book club. Virginia Creeper blocked the impatient readers from entering while Miss Smith ran around in a tizzy. She picked up overturned chairs and straightened the bookshelves. Outside, the seniors were getting grouchy, but inside, the kids and the characters had become too silly to notice. Can I help? Zack asked Miss Smith. She handed the incredible storybook to Zack. Remember, Miss Smith said, we have to finish each story so that the characters will go back into the book. Read the last page of each tale while I deal with this mess. Oh, look at those people are pretty cranky. They want to come in and do their book club. Zack opened up the book and quickly finished all the stories. One by one, the characters went back into the incredible storybook. The puzzled book club burst into the room just as Zack finished the last page. And you can see all the characters going back into the book. Okay, class, it's time to check out your books, Miss Smith said. She guided the class toward the big front desk. Everyone thanked Virginia Creeper before marching down the library steps and heading back to school. With borrowed books under their arms, the children were looking forward to reading more about all the characters they had just met. Zack smiled and wondered what they would read tomorrow. Whoa! See, there's the Jabberwocky outside the window. That was a fun little story, wasn't it? I really, really enjoyed that one. And there's all kinds of scary stories that are in other scary books, like The Headless Horseman from Legend of Sleepy Hollow. Marley's Ghost came from the Christmas Carol. Frankenstein's Monster comes from the Frankenstein book. So many stories. So, kids, you might want to tell your big people, the grown-ups that you live with or know, say, hey, I want to learn more about some of those scary characters. We've got kids' versions of a lot of those stories right here at the library as well. All right. Oh, man. I tell you, I've got another one. This one is kind of a cute little one. This one is called The Timid Ghosts. Now, when I was a young fella and I said, my name is Tim, and I used to hear people say timid all the time, I'd say, what, where, what? Then I learned what timid meant. Do you know what timid means? It means when you're kind of shy or you're kind of afraid to go and be adventurous. And I said, well, I'm not timid. I'm Tim, but I'm not timid. So every time I see the word timid, I think of those days. How many of you are timid? A little shy sometimes, a little afraid to go and try new things. That's okay. That's okay. That's why they make lots of stories about being timid because sometimes it's a little scary to be brave and exciting. So sometimes it's okay to be timid. Sometimes it's a safe way to be too. So this one is called 10 Timid Ghosts. This one is by Jennifer O'Connell. 10. How many of you can count to 10? 10 timid ghosts in a haunted house. A witch moved in and wanted them out. Look at all those ghosts. Ooh, hanging around in the windows. They're timid. One saw a skeleton and let out a whine. He flew to the woods, and then there were 9. 9 timid ghosts in a haunted house. A witch moved in and wanted them out. One saw a bat and didn't wait. She flew to the woods, and then there were 8. 8 timid ghosts in a haunted house. A witch moved in and wanted them out. One saw a ghoul and screamed, oh my heaven! He flew to the woods, and then there were 7. Ooh, scary. You got to be really scary if it's scared of ghosts. But look, it's just a person who put on a ghoul costume. Silly, huh? 7 timid ghosts in a haunted house. A witch moved in and wanted them out. One saw a cat. What a terrible fix! She flew to the woods, and then there were 6. 6 timid ghosts in a haunted house. A witch moved in and wanted them out. One saw an owl and took a dive. He flew to the woods, and then there were 5. Said the owl. 5 timid ghosts in a haunted house. A witch moved in and wanted them out. One saw a vampire and dashed to the door. She flew to the woods, and then there were 4. 4 timid ghosts in a haunted house. A witch moved in and wanted them out. One saw a monster and was scared as could be. He flew to the woods, and then there were 3. So there's the scary monster. Although all of these scary characters kind of have something in common, don't they? 3 timid ghosts in a haunted house. A witch moved in and wanted them out. One saw a spider, and what did she do? She flew to the woods, and then there were 2. I'm getting a little suspicious now, though. You see, there's the spider, but there's a pole up there with a string on it, and whose arm is that controlling the spider? She's getting a little witchy. Witchy. 2 timid ghosts in a haunted house. A witch moved in and wanted them out. One saw a rat and started to run. He flew to the woods, and then there was 1. So we see the ghost fly into the woods because of the rat. But who's controlling that rat? Is it even a real rat? No, there's that witch. She does not want those ghosts in that house. I can tell you that. 1 clever ghost in a haunted house. A witch moved in and wanted her out. She saw the witch coming undone. She flew to the woods, and then there were none. See that witch? The witch tried to dress up like a mummy and scare that last ghost. 10 angry ghosts in the deep dark wood. That witch is too tricky and just no good. This isn't fair. We live in there. Let's band together and give her a scare. So they're all hanging outside in the woods. One mean old witch in a haunted house. 10 brave ghosts wanted her out. Boo! The witch saw the ghost. She howled with fear. She tore out the door, screaming, "Get me out of here!" And look how a happy ending it was. Just in time for Halloween. Look at all the kids coming up to the Halloween house for some candy. Trick or treat, trick or treat. What a fun little story. The 10 timid little ghosts. All right. Good time, story time. Guys want some more ghostly stories? How are we doing, Mr. Brian? Are we doing all well on time?
We're good.
All right.
We're 21 minutes.
This one is called Rattle Rock. Now, I don't remember if you saw me doing story time last week. I said I also like October, or as I sometimes call it, Rocktober! Rock on! Rocktoberfest! Rock and roll. Yeah. So this one is called Rattle Rock. Mr. Brian thinks I'm silly. Rattle Rock. So any of you rock and rollers out there, give us a shout out. Anybody, give us a shout out. Remember, it always helps us if you like and share our Facebook page, especially our story times. You can share them live, or you can watch them again on YouTube. Just type in Charlestown Library on YouTube, and you'll find a lot of our older story times from the past weeks, and you can watch them again. If you've got preschool, or homeschool, if you've got anywhere where you can access video, which is pretty much anywhere these days, you can watch all of our old story times. Not just Mr. Tim. I know you all love Mr. Tim, but Miss Julie does some great ones, and even our good friend Pops, Mr. Brian, he did a lot of great ones, fun ones as well. So you can still access those on the YouTube. Rattlebone Rock by Sylvia